Kia ora, and welcome to the Beer Jerk Beer of the Week Drink Along. I'm Luke.
I'm Joe.
This week we are drinking a beer from Croucher, Moonride, which is a black IPA.
A black IPA.
A black IPA.
Also known as a Cascadian Dark Ale among some beer drinkers, beer writers, beer brewers.
Yeah, it's a bit of a, I suppose black IPAs were the brute IPAs with the noughties.
Really?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, like everyone was into them for a while, and it was just everyone was sort of excited about black IPAs and this cool new thing, and then everyone forgot about them. Like, you don't drink many, do you? You don't see many around.
And certainly overseas, I think they are still a little more common in New Zealand than they are in other places.
I mean, you say common, it's like,
Yes.
we've got a black Pilsner on tap at the moment. I can't really think of many black IPAs I've seen in recent years.
No. And it's a pretty well-balanced style, isn't it?
A well-made black IPA can be fantastic, and it's really hard to get the balance right because it's either going to be too hoppy, where it's just an IPA and it's black in colour, but the dark malt adds nothing to the beer, or it's a roasty, chocolatey espresso stout that's just hoppy, but it's a different style. Like a hoppy stout is a different and delicious style. So, yeah, lots of debates to be had on. Exactly what it is, which may be part of the reason why you don't see too many around. And also debates to be had on the name. So, IPA stands for India Pale Ale.
Pale, black.
Pale black.
Yeah.
This is not very pale black. This is definitely black.
Yeah, so that I suppose gives a bit of weight to the Cascadian Dark Ale should be the name of it argument, because it has those huge West Coast hops kind of flavours in it, doesn't it?
Well, I know a lot of people think that the Cascadian refers to it needs to be made with Cascade hops, but of course that's not true. Cascade hops are named for the Cascadian mountain range.
Yeah, in the Pacific Northwest where all of those hops are grown.
And
so
where
yeah,
the style originates.
Could be any hops, but that West Coast influence. I think black IPA did originate in the States, didn't it?
In that area, yeah. So that's it, and it was first called Cascadian. And yeah, that area of the Pacific Northwest, that's where all these pretty great American hops are from. So sort of like the Washington, Oregon area, I think I read that 95% of all hops grown in America are grown in this quite small area around Yakima. And I also read that 60% of all the hops in the world are grown in that region, which is pretty incredible when you think about, all the hops that are grown in Central Europe, especially. That'll be the other major region.
Because so much of the world's beer is consumed in Europe and they use European hops, but
Yes. A lot of Americans drink a lot of beer. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of hops being made for those American light lagers.
Miller High Life, PBR.
All those things. And Croucher, have you been to Croucher or been to the pub?
I've never been to the brewery. I did intend to pop in when I was last in Rotorua, but that didn't happen. But they have a bar on Eat Street.
Brew.
Brew. So I didn't realise that until I noticed that all the beers on tap were Croucher, which was a pleasant surprise. I think we were just walking around and decided to stop in for a beer.
Nice.
And yeah, they're always really well made. They used to have a spot on the Tauranga waterfront when I lived there.
Okay.
I wasn't really into beer then, so I didn't really ever visit. But they're pretty big in Rotorua. I think they're sort of, we talk about like Colonel in London. It's like all the restaurants around there will have a Croucher tins.
Well, not so many tins these days. It's on tap, really. They put a real focus on their venues and on keg beer, which is, it's a hassle putting your beer in cans, and it's really, really expensive putting your beer in cans. It's a whole thing, and then trying to sell cans to mainly supermarkets is the major buyers of packaged beer in New Zealand. I can totally understand not wanting to deal with that and keeping it simple. So luckily I did call Paul Croucher up kind of out of the blue on the off chance he might have packaged some beer recently, and he had. So it was sort of like fresh off the line into our chiller and out to you wonderful people. So this beer has been around for a while, so it's like you may have tried it years ago, but unlikely you've tried it recently. So hopefully it is as good as you remember. But I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I love it. It's got that real nice kind of roasty character from the malt.
Yeah.
Sort of reminiscent of coffee in a way. And then those big bitter sort of resinous hops as well. A little bit of sort of grapefruity pith, citrusy, but mostly piney and roasty, yeah.
And it is a real balancing act. It can really easily just be a gross mashup because the maltiness and the bitterness can just clash. So it is quite an impressive thing to have sort of finessed and straddled them both nicely to result in a beer like this that isn't, a mess.
Yeah, not too much of either thing.
Yeah,
which is pleasant.
Yeah, really well done. But yeah, just great. Big American hop profile to it as well. Keeps it interesting. It is 5.5%, which is always nice that it's not too over the top, but big flavours in there. And yeah, Croucher are into big flavours.
And mountain biking.
And mountain biking, yes. It says don't drink and bike on the can. Obviously Moonride, pretty cool bit of artwork on there. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is linked to mountain biking.
Yeah.
Loads in Rotorua. It's also the best in the world, right?
Yeah,
mountain biking.
They're pale ales and Enduro. I think that has a mountain biker on the front.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always events in the Redwoods. Probably these guys are sponsoring them.
Yeah. Incredible mountain biking around that part of the world.
Incredible walking. It's quite a cool forest out there, yeah.
Yeah. Cool mud pools.
What are they?
The mud pools.
Oh, mud pools.
Yeah. Bubbly and farty.
Yeah.
And but yeah, Croucher are into big flavours. I remember the first time I met Paul Croucher, which might be like 11 years ago or thereabouts, at a food fest or a beer festival, and he'd made a mushroom stout with oyster mushrooms. So I had a good chat with him about it. It was so good. Like I definitely want to brew a mushroom stout at some point. Quite labour intensive, quite expensive beer. Mushrooms don't impart a huge amount of flavour, so you need to use a lot. But just the sort of umami character, the sort of savouriness worked really well with this. It must have been a tiny batch of a keg-only release of mushroom stout. And I remember really well because he whipped out his phone and he was showing me pictures of mushrooms. But you know, like when you scroll through pictures on your phone, and depending on what sort of person you are, it might just be all pictures of your kid or all pictures of glasses of beer. But yeah, Paul's phone was just pictures of mushrooms. He was growing oyster mushrooms like at the brewery and the shed. So I think at that stage in his life, I don't know about recently, I haven't chatted about mushrooms recently, but he was more into growing mushrooms than almost anything else, than horses, mountain biking, brewing, his children. Cool little brewery in New Zealand doing some really cool stuff, which is what we're all about, just discovering the more regional brewers and celebrating them, I suppose, which is sort of getting harder to do because, as I said, not many of those brewers put beer in cans because it's a hell of a lot easier just to sell them on keg and sell them at your own venues as well. So a real treat for us this week that we managed to get hands on some of this. Good beer. Have we got anything else to talk about?
We got the last few, I think maybe 10 or so fresh hop boxes left.
Yep.
So we'll probably send an email out, but
Last
if you want
chance.
to get ahead of that, get one of those ordered. We'll be shipping them in the next sort of 10 days.
Yeah.
As the beers are starting to arrive.
We've got some good deals on the 2 brand new Small Gods beers. They're on the website at the moment.
Yeah, and 2 new Small Gods releases, so you can stock up on those.
Yeah, big IPA and a botanical lager for you to try.
Yeah, and they're on tap this weekend as well.
Right here
so if you
at the Fridge and Flagon. So the Fridge and Flagon is open every Friday and every Saturday. Also Mondays for Beer Jet Run Club. Beer Jet Run Club half marathon t-shirts. We saw loads of people come out for Fresh Hop on Saturday, which was so awesome, just so great to see the place buzzing. But I think people kind of forget that we exist a lot of the time, and I guess we're tucked out of the way. But I mean, turn up at the Fridge and Flagon any Friday or any Saturday, and it's basically like an amazing free beer festival anyway. We've always got 12 really cool beers on tap, always got all the latest Small Gods beers going, hundreds of beers in the fridges. It's always a great time here at the Fridge and Flagon. Don't wait for an event. Keep us in business. Rather than going to the local Lionside bar. Come and have a beer with your mates Joe and Luke. All right, let's finish these in peace.
Yeah,
Cheers.
cheers.
Thanks for joining us.